Hey guys, another episode of Banking Bills and Bevs. I'm here with Will Billingsley from AppTap, and we're joined today by special guest Sam Lathey from Bippit. Sam, how are you doing?
Yeah, pretty good, thanks, Timmy. I think we've kind of adjusted fully now to this new reality that we're in. But interesting times, eh?
Give us a little bit of a breakdown of what Bippit actually is and what you guys are up to.
Yeah. So I guess in its simplest terms, what we've built at Bippit is a platform through a mobile app where we connect professional financial advisors to people who need some support with their finances. And as we sort of touched upon there, that can sort of broadly fall into those people who are struggling a little bit, or those people who are kind of doing okay and want to start doing some more complex things with their money, putting it to work out in the world, whether that be saving or investing or adding more to their retirement, or thinking about protection products such as life insurance if they've got a family, or income protection if they're on a sort of variable sort of freelance situation. So with our advisors on the platform, they're all completely independent and impartial. They've got no incentive to recommend any products or anything. And what's great for them is because they get to work flexibly and remotely, and they don't have to do all of the sort of prospecting and admin that usually comes with being a financial advisor. They get to spend 100% of their time doing what they love and what they've trained to do, which is helping people. And on the other side of it, our users get a dedicated one-to-one relationship with a finance expert, and they can ask whatever questions they like, whenever they like them, and they get that expert support to help them understand what they should be doing and when they should be doing it.
That's awesome because, I haven't used a financial advisor before, but I can imagine it's a huge disruption to the financial advice space. Like people who, correct me if I'm wrong, but the impression I get is people who want to get a financial advisor at the moment have to have, an existing relationship or have to come from a sort of background where that is perhaps a more normal thing. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, my background is in sort of financial advice and wealth management. Although if you go back far enough, I used to be a professional musician, but perhaps that's not particularly relevant to the discussion today. But when I was in financial advice and wealth management, most of my clients came through referrals, right? So, someone would talk to their friend at the golf club or in the bar at the networking, and, I've got this great financial advisor. His name's Sam, although I'm sure they didn't say that directly. And then I would get clients mostly through referrals. So that kind of closed system isn't really good for anyone. So what we're trying to do is ultimately open that up, because the thing that we found is most important to improve someone's financial situation is helping them validate the things that they're already thinking about. Because a lot of people on our platform, they kind of know what they should be doing when it comes to sort of debt or building up savings, starting to invest. Everyone knows they should be contributing more to their pension, right? And everyone knows that they could be doing things a bit better, but there's so much information out there that it's really difficult to kind of cut through all that noise and understand in practical terms, what should I be doing and when should I be doing it? And getting that expert voice to sort of bounce ideas off and say, look, I think I should be doing this. I don't really understand it. What do you think I should be doing? That really helps people go from a position where they're just, maintaining the status quo, managing their finances in the same way they always have, to actually making a change, taking some action and improving their situation.
Do you think open banking has started to open up people's eyes a little bit in terms of what you're talking about? Or do you think it may have contributed to a little bit more confusion, or kind of what are your thoughts on how open banking may have opened up that landscape a little bit?
So, I mean, we use open banking effectively as a efficiency tool. The traditional experience of going to an office, meeting with a financial advisor, bringing your bank statements and letting them know how much you earn, and I've got 2.4 children and all of this stuff. Most of that can be automated, or at least done up front without any need for the advisor's time. So we use that as an efficiency tool. And I think there's still a barrier there for people to really understand the power of it, because there's an awful lot you can do with that data, but that data is some of the most sensitive data, if not the most sensitive data that we have as individuals. So there's a real challenge around the trust to help people on that journey to start using these kind of systems and, switch their bills automatically, share the information with a financial advisor. So there's work to be done there, but I think we're on the right track.
Potentially a big question, but as a new entrant into a market with quite entrenched ways of doing things, how do you build that trust?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be progressive. I think there are trust issues on both sides, both with the young companies that are not yet an established brand, but also with the established brands. We've been through quite a few, well, I have, I'm maybe a little bit older than you guys, been through quite a few sort of financial crashes now. And that trust issue is something that's really important. What we found really early on, when we were doing our discovery and user testing, is that a lot of people don't really trust the advisors in the bank branches. Because if I go to Barclays, which is my bank, and there's an advisor in there, that advisor is almost certainly going to be recommending Barclays products to me.
Of course.
So I think that's a significant issue. As a young brand, the bottom line is that you have to be authentic, you have to be transparent, and you have to be impartial and independent where you can be. And that goes an awfully long way to build that trust.
I'm sort of wondering, even though the end user may not care about how open banking works for you as someone creating Bippit, do you run into any brick walls with the technology? Are you able to use it to its full potential, or do you think there's still more to come?
I think there's an awfully long way to go, not just from open banking, but eventually open finance as well.
Interesting.
I mean, our sort of underlying thesis at Bippit is that at some point, we're going to get to a place in the future where you're going to be able to connect all of your financial life to one place. And then with tech efficiencies and AI, you're going to be able to almost sort of map out your financial future based on your financial data. So in the same way that, you go into Google Maps and you say, I want to get to this place, and it's going to, Google Maps is going to tell me the most efficient way to get there. Well, if I'm connecting all of my data from my finances, I should be able to say, I want to get to this place in the future, which for me is a 3-bedroom house in this particular area of London, whatever it may be. What's the most efficient way for me to get there?
Yeah, what products, what services?
Yeah, bearing in mind my sort of income and expenditure and what I'm doing with my finances, what are the things I need to do to get to that place in the future in the most efficient way? And then, if it's really smart, it will adjust for any, accidents along the way. So, if there needs to be a diversion, it will tell me how to do that. That's where I think we can get to with open banking and open finance. But at the moment, it's really in its early stages, and even the categorization is really flaky. I mean, if I go and spend some money at my newsagents at the end of the road and I have a Barclays account, well, that data looks a lot different than if I go to the same shop with a Santander account.
Yeah.
So basic things like that need to improve.
In your previous, you mentioned that you were a financial advisor previously. At what point did you get to where you realized I need to leave what I'm currently doing and I need to pursue this new opportunity? Was it a pain point type thing? Was it that you saw a gap in the market?
I guess it was kind of a slow burn, really. It wasn't like a light bulb went off, or suddenly I saw open banking and then everything was clear and I saw the path forward and just walked it. When I think about this, it actually goes back to some of my sort of formative experiences with money. When I came out of university, to my embarrassment, I was, in a mess sort of financially. And I'm talking, like maxed out credit cards and payday loans kind of in a mess. And I didn't talk to anyone about it. I just sort of white knuckled through it and somehow managed to dig my way out of that. And if I'd have had the ability to talk to someone sort of privately and independently, without the sort of stigma of, having a face-to-face conversation even, I think that would have helped significantly, not only for me in my sort of mental health at that time, but also to improve that situation much, much faster. But the problem was that, I didn't want to talk to my friends about it, through embarrassment and sort of the stigma around it. I didn't want to worry my family about it. So where could I go, really? I couldn't get access to a financial expert because I would have had to have significant money already, because most advisors won't accept anyone unless they have sort of £50,000 in savings and investments already. So my choices were really, really limited. If there was something at that time where I could download an app and within a couple of minutes be speaking to an expert and just ask the stupid questions and get some support and get some advice, then that would have really, really helped me. So, I mean, fast forward, 20 years almost, and I'm in that sort of industry, and it had always been a desire of mine to make these kind of services available to more people. And then as I started seeing open banking and these kind of fintech propositions and the sort of efficiency come through, then it did seem like there was something that we could do to make expert financial support available to more people in that personalized one-to-one way.
Cool. I guess just a final kind of wrapping question then, it would be, I've put in my 2 cents, who are your kind of, who are you keeping your eye on, let's say, and what cool startups or other, maybe even larger companies who are out there, they're doing cool things, kind of capture your attention at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, there are so many great products out there. I think, one of the companies that we're quite close to through our work with the Finance Innovation Lab is Kogo. That's COGO.
Yeah.
And what they're doing with open banking is giving consumers insight into where their money is actually going in terms of the environment and in terms of sort of social governance. So you can see what your carbon footprint is of your spending, because they're connected to all the retailers and, know what that company's doing in terms of, are they living wage? Are they a green company? So you can see a breakdown from that open banking data of, are you doing good with your money? And I think that's something that's really, really powerful, because if I can go into that app and I can see, well, I was going to get a sandwich at this place, but this place is paying their staff better, that's really going to help me as a consumer do the things I want to be doing with my money. And the other company that I would mention who's using open banking is Toucan. And what they're doing is supporting vulnerable people by allowing them to share their financial data in a sort of power of attorney with their carer or with their family member. So that family member can then help them manage their financial life, where they have a lack of ability to do that, either through disability or through mental health or some other sort of age-related issue. And I think that's something that's really, really important. So I always keep an eye on what they're doing.
Yeah, 2 great causes actually. And spoken to Kogo a little bit, and I think the team at Toucan, are doing a lot of work with money and mental health as well. So it's 2 brilliant companies. Other than that, Sam, just thank you for joining us.
It's been a great chat, Sam. Where can people find you? Where can people find Bippit if they want to learn more?
Yep. So you can check out the company at bippit.com. That's BIPPIT.com. And yeah, I use LinkedIn mostly. I'm not really a Twitter guy. So yeah, find me on LinkedIn if you want to connect.
Sam Lathey. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys. Really enjoyed that. Have a good day.
Yeah.